Hi, this is Susanna Bowling, and live from the Hotel Edison, Times Square Chronicles presents Zoom Style. Today, we are with one of my favorite people. Uh, the other day, we went to the opening of About Time, and I was so excited to take her because I found out that she had been in the original production in London. We're talking Lorna Dallas.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? We just interviewed Richard Maltby and we talked about
Wonderful.
him.
Wonderful. It was such a joy doing Closer Than Ever in the UK. It was the European premiere of the show. And Richard came over. He had limited time to give us hints on the direction and all, which was wonderful, by the way. And then it was left in the hands of the British director. But while he was there, it was gold dust. It was absolutely gold dust working with him, and such wonderful material. Great songs to sing.
And if I'm not mistaken, you also got to steal one of the songs from the other rooms.
It worked out that, well, I'd been very fond of Back on Base, and I'd mentioned it, and I'd said, "Oh, I'm not right for the that other role." And they said, "Well, Lorna, we want you to do Back on Base," so I've got that song as well, and it was with a lovely young bass player, his first show ever, Steve McManus. He was a joy to work with, and later on, a couple of 3 or 4 years later, he actually played bass for me in my show at German Street Theater and for anything that I did in the UK. He was a true joy, a real joy.
It's funny because Sally Mays met her husband doing that song.
Her husband is a great bass player, by the way. He
Yeah,
he
he played
played,
the bass.
yes, he played for two of my shows in New York at the Firebird and at Archie's. He was
Oh, wow.
wonderful. A lovely, lovely guy, really. And Sally, well, that goes without saying. She's incredible. She's got a new show coming in. And
She just directed Caroline Montgomery show on Rosemary Clooney.
yes, but Sally has a show coming in at Theater Row called, I think it's called Confessions of a Southern. What's it? I don't have the correct title. Confessions of a Southern, but it's at Theater Row in
I'll
late
find out. Do you
March.
want to go?
Yes, I would love to go. I've tried to sort out a time, but Sally is
No,
wonderful.
because I'll definitely have to go and review.
Oh,
Again,
what a joy. Okay, okay.
um, you're doing a brand new show at
Yes, I
Chelsea Table and
am.
Stage.
Yes.
Talk about it. Promote yourself.
Well, it is a show going back on 35 years of my collaboration with my esteemed director, Barry Kleinbord, and my heartbeat at the piano, Christopher Denny. We realize that we have 35 years of arrangements that have been done for various shows. Some arrangements are personal favorites, particularly. Some we turned out that didn't just fit into the show at that time, so they were sort of filed away for another day. But who knows? They could be coming out on March the 20th. But it's invigorating going back and finding these arrangements again and working on them. And some of them from being back when we did them in London, we might not have done some of them here. So those are discoveries here. But it's interesting going back on something that I did 35 years ago, 34, 35 years ago, and doing it again now. And you can say the age difference and the different thought process that comes into it. But it has been a real joy in working on this show, and the soprano pipes are well out and in the fore on this show because Barry and Chris limit me to high notes in any show. So, and those are bread and butter ones for me. So they do limit me, and I explore the lower voice, and I'm going down to low Fs and low E flats and all. So I mix it up a lot in other shows, but this one found, well, ooh, they're a bit more soprano coming up, which is fun, really good fun.
Wait, what's your vocal range? Like how many octaves?
I go 3.5. I can nudge 4. I could
Uh,
I could match Cleo,
Mhm.
basically, who
Oh,
absolutely
let's
I
talk
adore.
about Cleo Lane.
Oh,
She was one of your best friends.
she was one of my best friends. Cleo, I say hand on heart, probably was the biggest influence on my musical awareness, my voice, because when I started working with Cleo, coming from the classically trained, you're judged on sound for
Mhm.
opera.
Absolutely.
You could sing mush, but as long as it's a beautiful note, then that's what they want to hear. But with Cleo, and I had been classically trained on opera and all, and musical theater, but with Cleo, it was suddenly I thought, my God, lyrics, yes. And it was a master class working with her. And I have to say, I said from day one after working with her, I thought, thank you, God, I'm going to be working with this woman every day. Thank you, Lord. And I have treasured every day since then. She taught me so much, and she was such a wonderful friend over the years. We did concerts together and out at their theater. John and Cleo had a theater in their estate, and we'd do these crazy shows. John would say, "Oh, turn up on Sunday morning if you can, Lorna. Just bring some music and well, songs about places." So I'd get there at 10 o'clock, and John would be standing there writing with his left hand over a clipboard. He wrote upside down, and he was working out an arrangement for the opening.
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Oh, well, wonder." And there'd be Ned Sharon in the room, and Millie Martin, Cleo, Gene Simmons,
Really?
David Kernan, and Richard Stilgo, who wrote the lyrics to Phantom and all. And we'd be sitting there and he'd say, "Now, I brought you all together today to sing. The title of the show is Bon Voyage Titanic." And we say, "Excuse me, John, but the Titanic didn't sail any place it sank." Well, where it could have gone. So it was all these. Ned Sharon wrote the script. John wrote an opening, a closing of Act One, an opening Act Two, and a closing of Act Two, a duet for Richard and myself, a duet for Cleo and myself, a trio that Cleo, Richard, and I did. And at 8 o'clock that evening, we put on this show. By the
Oh,
by
fun.
the skin of our teeth, we did this show. It was so much fun. And the audience that came, there were regulars that came to that theater, but they all were piled in, just hanging with bated breath what we were
Oh,
going
you
to
did
do.
this show with an audience?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
in the evening with an audience.
You have
And
script in
people,
hand?
a couple of things we had to have sort of little notes in our hand, but otherwise off the top of our heads. We worked like stink through the afternoon and did that
Oh,
show in the evening.
wow.
Yes, and that really was a voyage of discovery of what you could do. But
That's like summer stock on speed.
it certainly was. And it was such a joy working with them on things like that. And I absolutely adored John Dangworth and Cleo Lane. I cannot say how much I loved them. And I was gutted when Cleo died recently. And I flew back. I was working here and I flew back for her funeral. It's a private funeral. And it was so beautiful. The group of us that were there, we were very special. And it was afterwards the stories we were telling and just it was just a wonderful, wonderful celebration of her life that afternoon. And then I came back here to work with Barry and Chris again, and then flew back for her funeral in October. And I also sang at her memorial, should I say, in London. And that was quite an incredible event. It really was.
Tell our audience what you sang.
Uh, I sang Nobody Else But Me, but you see, it had been written for Magnolia to sing in the show.
Okay, wait, stop, 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 stop. I know this answer, but I don't think my audience does. Tell everybody how you met Cleo Lane.
Well, I had arrived in London. I'd been signed to star as Magnolia in Showboat at the Adelphi Theatre, and I I knew no one in the cast, and this woman, Cleo Lane, well, I knew nothing about her. Anyway, the first day of rehearsal, and it was the Dress Circle Bar at Drury Lane Theater. And the double doors swung open, and I saw these thigh-high red leather boots, the lips, the eyes, and the hair. And I thought, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that before. And this exquisite creature walks up to me and says, "Hello, I'm Cleo." And I was hooked. I mean, I was well and truly hooked. And
I would have been hooked with the red boots.
well, the red boots were incredible. And I did check with Jackie after Cleo died. I said, "What happened to the red boots?" She said, "Oh, they're here." She said, and I said, "Oh, Jackie, you got to wear them at some point or other." Anyway, but uh Cleo, I mean, the first note out of her mouth and my jaw dropped to the floor. And I thought, oh my God. And I wrote in my script like a cello, and I showed it to Kenny Nelson, a fellow American in the company sitting next to me. And we were both just sitting there and salivating and watching Cleo sing and just letting it waft over us. So yeah, that was the first impression. And as I say, from then on, I was hooked. I just hung on every word the woman said and sang, and it was a wonderful, wonderful education. And I say that hand on heart, that I had wonderful mentors and teachers through the years. I cannot deny that, who were brilliant in nurturing my voice and my talent. But with Cleo, it was just different. It was just soaking it in every day. And she made the biggest impression on my life of anyone. And but it was her love that followed all of that as well that was so special. And I'm so extremely grateful for that.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told you this, but the very first time I ever saw Cleo Lane was when she was at the Greek Theater in
Ah.
California. And I hadn't heard of her. I didn't know what it was. My parents just took me, and I was in love. I was like, okay, can we go to the record store now? And of course, they were closed because it was a night
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
And the next day, I went and got every album she ever did. And I was constantly playing her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her articulation on lyric and her, I love finding singers that hear a song differently than me.
Mm.
Not that I necessarily want to do it their way,
Mm.
but it's like having steak and then
Mm.
you find butter and then you find salt and you find seasoning. It's like that.
Oh yes, oh yes. Well, but the incredible thing about Cleo with, I mean, if you just put on all those records and all those incredible arrangements, that's just the tip of the iceberg of all that she sang. But she did not read music. She had this incredible ear to pick up
Love
things.
her.
Just absolutely amazing. I was gobsmacked at the thought of her being able to just pick it up by ear. And the things that John wrote for her. I mean, my God. And plus, she did Pierre Lunaire. But if you look on YouTube, you can find her doing, she was on tour with Into the Woods, and she's doing
Oh,
The
yes,
Witch.
I have to. You told me about this. I
Oh,
have to
The
see.
Witch. Oh, it's spellbinding to watch that. And also, she did Merry Widow in, I think it was Minneapolis one year.
Oh, really?
And yes, and things like that as well, other than Edwin Drood on Broadway. But she was just totally astonishing, just astonishing.
Wait, if I'm not mistaken, there's an album of Cleo Lane's that John did, and it's all
Mhm.
John's music. And it's almost like opera poetry.
Word songs, I think it's called.
Ah,
Or in the UK, it was released as Shakespeare and all that jazz.
that one, that's it.
That's it. Okay. Well, oh yeah, that is an astonishing. And in fact, at one time, in some of the schools in the UK, they had said, "Oh, we should introduce that album in teaching kids about Shakespeare. It'd be a painless way."
Oh, massively.
And it was suggested, and I think in some schools it was played and used that way. I'm not sure if the record is still in print, but if anyone can get their hands on it, do, because it is absolutely brilliant.
I agree. I was mesmerized by the song. Um, in your show, in the songs that you're doing, what song are you the most thrilled to share with your audience?
Oh,
Oh, you should have known this.
that's like trying to name your favorite child.
This
Uh,
does exist.
oh, oh, what a loaded question. Um, oh, maybe, maybe my tribute to Cleo, but there's also, I don't want to give away everything in the show, but um,
Oh, it's one question.
yeah, but that probably is one of my favorite moments, and just sharing things from Showboat, which, by the way, in 2027 will be 100 years old.
Really?
Yep. And oh, please God, I make it to 100 and I can still sing Magnolia. I love that role. Yeah, but it,
Yeah, but Julie gets the better songs.
well, Julie gets some more poignant ones as such, but Magnolia has some pretty nifty stuff to sing as well. And
That's
Magnolia, if you break it down, Magnolia is associated with every major character in the show. Not everyone is. She is. There
right.
is a scene of her with some major character in the show throughout, and she covers them all. So she has an association right throughout. So she is, in my mind, she was always the engine that drove the train.
Well, that's
And
true. In this show, absolutely.
and Wendy Toy, when I said that to her, am I right? And she's, Lorna, you are absolutely right. And yeah, I thrilled at singing that show. Plus, I mean, heavens forbid, I mean, it's a wonderful score to sing. And I had a wonderful leading man, Andre Jobin. And of course, working with Cleo and Can't Help Loving That Man, and the duet section of that was a joy. And a lot of people commented about the kitchen scene in which we did that it was so realistic and so warm. And I said, well, yeah, you were witnessing two ladies on stage who really enjoyed one and loved one another. It was, you could taste it. You could really taste it.
Okay, I have to ask you my favorite question.
Yes.
They say that eyes are the windows of the soul,
Mm,
and I think songs are. Today,
mm.
because this should constantly change, what song or series of songs describes who Lorna Dallas is? Sorry,
Um,
but it is my favorite question.
Let me think. I may take a couple of seconds here, maybe more. I think a song that Amanda McBroom and Ann Hampton Callaway wrote for me. It was commissioned. Um, it's based on an experience that I had during COVID. Uh, one night, I I say I felt I felt the most passionate kiss on my lips. And I woke up. I wasn't frightened because I knew those lips. I looked around the room. It was dark, but there was a warm glow about it. And I looked at the clock. It was 2:47 in the morning. And that was the time that my husband died in my arms,
Oh,
months
oh
before
no.
that. And I thought, oh, Gary, I thought, you've come back to me at a time I really needed you. I always felt him all around all the time anyway, but that night in particular, and COVID and being alone, and um, I just, I felt this warm glow that came over me. And I turned over and I thought, Oh, thank you, Gary. I really, really needed you. And I uh, expressed this to a few friends of this experience or dream that I had. And my agent, Belinda Wright, and her partner, Laura, commissioned Anne and Amanda to write the song called In My Dreams for me. And a lot of the words in the song are the words that I spoke at Gary's funeral when I said that I miss seeing his laughing eyes. I miss his wonderful smile. I miss his arms around me. I miss his lips on mine. And Amanda has used much of what I said and related this dream so beautifully. And that song probably expresses who I am in a lot of ways and
Is
how
this song in the
fortunate.
show? Is this song
But
in the show?
in this, not in this show.
Why?
Oh, well, there's some other really personal things in it. I, I can't. I did it in the last show, and Um, I'll do it in another show. But this one, I didn't put it in for a number of reasons because the Cleo, I'm really
Oh,
rather taken to a lot of extreme moments in this show. But In My Dreams is a very special song. As I say, it was commissioned and written for me with much love. Both Anne and Amanda did know Gary. And Amanda, in particular, oh, ages ago, she and I met for a coffee one day, and we were talking about the fact that both of us were married to men who were older. And I said, oh, I don't find that a disadvantage at all because I said, Gary is so grounded within himself. And I said, I said, the love that pours out of that man is incredible. And I said, he writes letters to me all the time, love notes. And I said, for
oh,
every trip, I said, there'll be one in my bag right now. And Amanda said, really? I said, yeah. I reached down my bag and pulled out this note. And she said, oh, may I read it? And I said, yeah, you can read it. And she read it and she was like sitting gulping and she said, may I use this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, I think I'd like to set it to music. And I said, well, okay. And it is in her songbook. It's the verse to a song called Timeless Thing. And
oh, yeah.
Gary's words that he wrote to me, and this is just typical of the hundreds of notes, and I have them in a box at home, and notes that I wrote back to him, equally as loving, he kept. And I've been asked if I want to publish these like love letters. I'm not sure. But anyway, the words that Gary spoke in that particular note that I pulled out of the bag that day were, we were born in different times and places, many years and many miles apart, until the day I found you and built my world around you. You'll never know what love can bring to a waiting heart.
So you guys
Those,
are twin flames.
well, oh yes. But that's typical of the letters and notes that were left for me. There's two on my desk right now in front of me that I
Oh,
found the other day. One, my darling
I'm
Lorna,
so glad I asked this
yeah.
question.
This one starts out, my darling Lorna, you are now on your way as a true angel of mercy. Please know that I am with you all the way. That's why, okay. My dearest darling, just a short note to help you on your journey and to remind you how very much I love you. Always have and always will over phone calls. Every phone tells a story. Every photo tells a story.
I love this.
Those are the opening lines of long typed letters.
Oh, Lorna, we're out of time. Um,
Oh, I'm sorry about that. But
no,
anyway,
no, no. I
it's been a
love this
joy.
interview. Please plug when you're playing at Chelsea Tables and Stage,
March 20th at 7 p.m.
and I will definitely be there.
Oh, I hope you are. I hope a lot of people will come because I promise you it is a treasure chest full of some musical gems.
I love the way you sing. I love the way you interpret. I will definitely be there. Uh,
Thank you.
Magda, do you have any quick questions to ask?
Yes, just about your warm up. Now, I heard the other night that Rosemary Clooney doesn't warm up.
Mhm.
I knew Peggy
No,
Lee, she didn't warm up.
no.
Now, what do you do?
I had a voice professor who used to say to me, Lorna, if the body's awake, the voice is awake. So it's more or less sort of little stretching exercises, things like that. And yeah, check, fine. I don't get hung up on things, but that teacher, it was the right thing to say to me. And it's absolutely true. If the body's awake, your voice is awake.
That's so true.
That's it.
I want to thank my guest, Lorna Dallas, for being with us today. Definitely go see her show at Chelsea Table and Stage. This is Susanna Bowling, live from the Hotel Edison. Times Square Chronicles presents Zoom Style.